Hello everyone and welcome back to Top 10 Evolution, where in today's video we'll be taking a look at a list of 10 new Xbox Series X games that I know you guys are gonna love. And just a small disclaimer, 7 out of these 10 games on this list are Xbox exclusive titles and the other 3 might be next gen titles if my memories serve me right. So keep that in mind, and with all that said, let's get into the video. Now starting off this list with a game I recently discovered, and oh boy, I love this game. The gameplay in the trailer is actually the best game showcase I have seen in a long while, and the way the developers are able to capture the emotions and the emotions of the characters so well with the cinematic, well, it was actually super great. I mean, you can see down to the distress and the heightened emotion in each scene being emitted by the various characters. And the way the game seemed to capture these characters' emotions, the rage and the anger and the pity, like they're generally they're generally real human beings, which is crazy because they're just game characters, but it just show how much games are just evolving. And this game is already giving me the feel like this is going to have an amazing story, which so far it seems like that is the case. And the story seems to be a heartfelt one, with the two main characters being lovers, which the female counterpart died, and you'll be hating your lover as she tries to find herself back to the world of the living. So yeah, that alone sounds like a great movie idea, let alone to see it in a game is just it's low-key mind-blowing, and I'm all in with this one. Now you're both Banishers, basically y'all hunt and banish ghosts that lingers onto the real world with ill intent. I think that's a great summary on this amazing game. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden is a new and upcoming action-adventure fighting role-playing game being developed by Don't Nod and is to be published by Focus Entertainment, releasing for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, the PC, and the PS5, released on November 7th, 2023. Next up is a game that had been added and removed out of so many lists I placed it in, and well, it's because I kind of always find a better option for the video topic, but finally it's found the place in this video. The game in question is The Lords of the Fallen. Now this game will also act as a reboot and a sequel to its predecessor, Lords of the Fallen, that was released back in 2014, set a whole 1,000 years apart. So for anyone that played The Lord of the Rings back in 2014, this game should feature a lot of new characters, location, and weapons. And I'm not gonna lie and say I did play the 2014 Lords of the Fallen, cause I haven't. I'll probably give it a try just to kind of have a feel of the game that I'm playing, so I can kind of understand what the sequel or the new game is about, just to understand the concept of the whole series in general. So maybe I'll give it a try, maybe not, but if I do, of course I'll definitely announce it to you guys and let you know if it's even worth giving a shot. Now let's speak a little on the Lords of the Fallen. Now the game is an RPG, so you'll be able to build your own characters and choose from one of 9 characters classes. So you have options if you like the type of person that likes replaying a game with different character classes. The game also features 2 worlds, and that being the world of the living and the world of the undead. Lord of the Rings Fallen is a new upcoming action-adventure fighting role-playing game being developed by Xworks alongside with the finance studio, and is to be published by CI Games. Releasing for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, and the PC and the PS5, releasing on October 13, 2023. Next up is Ark 2, a game I'm sure needs no introduction, 1, due to the amount of views and support all of its gameplay trailer and announcement received, 2, because of the amazing predecessor it has, which is Ark Survival Evolved, which based on the game, the Ark 2 doesn't need to do a lot of rehaul, of the whole mechanics or anything of that sort. All the Ark 2 has to do for me is just be innovative with new features and maybe even a little bit of story, which we kind of see a hint of actual story in the trailers, that story mode might actually be a thing in this game, which the predecessor didn't have, of course, and it really didn't need it, but it's still good to have one so we can still play around with it. But I think to have a good story mode, all we need is to be able to still do Ark stuff like taming and riding dinosaurs and building stuff and shelters and stuff and strongholds, but like also having like AI that fills those strongholds, and like having other civilized strongholds that we can also visit. And that doesn't seem like a bad idea at all. I would actually like that a lot, and it would be actually a lot of fun. Like even having two separate game modes, like a campaign and a multiplayer. But maybe I'm asking for too much, or maybe I'm not, and maybe developers have that in mind. But there's not much known about this game. But regardless, this game just needs to be innovative and improve on the graphics, which wasn't even bad looking at all, and also improve on some multiplayer features, and also probably adding some more features into the game overall. And I think that would make this game a perfect sequel. That's my idea though. Arc 2 is a new and upcoming survival MMO action adventure role-playing game being developed by Studio Wildcard alongside with Grove Street Games, and is published by Studio Wildcards. Arc 2 will be releasing for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, and the PC, releasing sometime in 2024. Next up is Forza Motorsport, a racing game made by the same developers that made the amazing Forza Horizon series, and some previous motorsports as well. Forza Motorsport seems to be no exception with this, as it seems like it's gonna hold its own and be a lot of fun like its predecessor. And I already kind of like the graphics and the gameplay and the cars. Well, they kind of look well designed, and you can always like count on a Forza game to be amazing, so kind of like expect like a good thing from this game. But I'm hoping the cars really feel as good as they look, cause like is there a lot of car games where the cars like look amazing, and well, the handling on the cars and the vehicles and the responsiveness, well, it's not that good. But it's good to know that like we have like another Forza game to look forward to, even though it's not an open world Forza game. It's more like a track racing game like the F1 series. But I mean, it's still a Forza game, and I like the Forza series, so regardless, I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing this one. And it's not a bad game at all. The Forza Motorsport series are actually pretty good series. But so far, I think this game is definitely gonna be a game we're picking up. I'm definitely gonna pick this one up at launch, since this game will be launching over 500 cars, so we don't need like a lot more cars than that. And plus, over 100 of those cars will be new to the series, so there's a lot to try out and a lot to do. Forza Motorsport is a racing sports simulation game being developed by Turn 10 Studios, and is to be published by the Xbox Game Studios. Forza Motorsport will be releasing for the PC, the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, releasing on October 10th, 2023. Next up is a game that was featured so much time back on this channel like in the last couple of years, and all for good reason. We're talking about the Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. This game had its fair shares of delayed, but that doesn't mean that a game is a bad game or it's gonna be a bad game. It's actually quite opposite. It just shows that the developers want this game to be like in its best possible shape before they release it. So I'm kind of cool with that. So take your time and make a good Stalker game, since it's been like over a decade since like we haven't got a Stalker game. So hey, just make a good game that we can love and enjoy and all play, and I'm cool with that, because the Stalker series is a series that we're all like used to at this point and loved. So definitely go ahead and make a good Stalker game, so take your time. Now, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl will be following its predecessors, being based in a post-apocalyptic world where you're a lone stalker and you will meet different factions and their members as you explore the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Now, you'll have to be fighting against mutated monsters and also human enemies, so you gotta watch out for everybody. Also, there's a lot of valuable artifacts to be found in this game as well, and the weapons are actually pretty decent, so I definitely can't wait for this game to release. I've been waiting for years. Saga 2 Heart of Chernobyl is a new first-person shooter, survival horror, action adventure game being developed and still published by GSC Game World, releasing for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, and the PC, releasing sometime in December 2023. Now, next up is a game I have been having a ton of fun with, well, depending on how you describe fun. Well, for me, some of the fun is getting my ass whooped for hours on end by the Pirate Master and even his little minions at time. This game isn't gonna be easy, but I have seen that gameplay where folks literally speed running through this game demo, so it's possible to like get used to this game or like be able to master the game. But the game doesn't have a difficulty mode, so if you plan on giving the demo a try, please remember that. But Lies of P actually has a wonderful combat system. It's built to be like a Dark Soul or play like a Dark Soul type game, but it isn't really played like one. It just might have a few shared mechanics. The difficulty system is definitely one of them. The game story is actually pretty decent, and of course you only got a small sneak peek of the story with the demo, but I mean, you can tell a good story when you see one. And the game environment and the graphic design are also well done, and I can only imagine if it's a demo, like you can imagine how good it's gonna be when the game is actually complete and released. Like the only major issue I had with this game was the latency. It was a bit higher, and the responsive time, well, it doesn't really feel all that responsive, which as a Dark Souls type game, you need that fast responsive time to like do dodges and like hit a perfect parry. But overall, this is a quite solid game. Lies of P is a new and upcoming action adventure fighting role-playing game being developed by Rune 8 Studios alongside with NeoWiz, and is republished by NeoWiz Games. Lies of P releasing for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, the Xbox One, the PC, the PS4, the PS5. Releasing on September 19th, 2023. Hey, I kid you not, I discovered about this game yesterday, and I know, guys, I have been slacking off, but in my defense, I wasn't doing content for like the last 4 to 6 months, so I wasn't really watching new titles and new releases, and I wasn't really keeping up with developers to see what new project they were kicking up. So yeah, y'all can punch me for that, but not too hard because, you know, my skin ain't made out of iron. And fun and jokes aside, am I the only one seeing the amount of Star Wars games that have been announcing all of a sudden? Like, what's behind that? And hey, I'm not complaining. I love the Star Wars games. 2015 Star Wars Battlefront was like one of my favorite Star Wars games of all times. Following behind that is Jedi Fallen Order, and then Battlefront 2. Even though it had like a troubled launch and was pretty bad for some time, the game did end up getting fixed to the point where it was actually quite enjoyable. Plus, I got the game for free, so yeah, lucky me. But for my least favorite out of all these new recent Star Wars games, definitely has to go to like the Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which isn't a bad game. It's actually pretty fun. I just enjoyed the other Star Wars games more. But I think I need to like make a separate video speaking about all these upcoming Star Wars games. I think there's like 2 or 3 of them. I'm not sure, but this game doesn't look too bad, and it has more of a Star Wars Jedi look and gameplay to it, more than like a Battlefront series. And the game event is set between the Empire Strikes Back and the Return of the Jedi. Star Wars Outlaws is a new and upcoming action adventure shooter game being developed by Massive Entertainment and is published by Ubisoft. Star Wars Outlaws will be releasing for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, the PC, and the PS5, releasing sometime in 2024. Next up is a game that haven't been featured on this channel since like last year, and it's kind of because it went under the radar for a bit, but it did resurface with some new gameplay trailer to show off. And the game I'm talking about is Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. And let me just say, the trailer actually shows how good this game looks. When I first saw the first gameplay, I was like, okay, the graphics design seems alright for the type of dark fantasy game that this is. But seeing this new gameplay showed me how wrong I actually was. The game definitely looks like improvements were done, as like majority of the gameplay we have seen before just shows a game in a dark scene where black was like the major color being displayed with some fiery elements, but the scenery was, well, dark. But seeing a bit more light really shows this game, but seeing a bit more light colors really shows this game graphical capabilities. Now, the game over the sequel to Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, a wonderful game that when it was released at the time, garnered a lot of attention for its unique and dark story, and the combat was pretty good as well. So that game was an all-rounded, well-done game, and this game just seems to be continuing on that and picking up where it left off, as Senua is still going through a tormented hell in the Viking Iceland. Can't wait to give it a try. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is a new and upcoming action-adventure fighting horror game being developed by Ninja Theory and is to be published by the Xbox Game Studio, releasing for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, and the PC, releasing sometime in 2024. And whilst we're on the topic of games that haven't been featured on this channel in a while, let's take a look at Fable. Hey, When this game was announced, I felt like a little kid at McDonald's, finally being able to get something you really loved. And that's what I have for the Fable series. Nothing but love. Cause these games carried me through like my Xbox 360 days. Like just seeing these games really does bring back the nostalgia. The last Fable game I played was Fable 3. The last Fable game I played was Fable 3. Cause I got it for like a Christmas gift on the same year it was released. And if my memory served me correct, I think that was back in 2010. The good old days if you ask me. The really good old days. And although it was the last Fable game I've played, doesn't mean it was the last Fable entry in the series. We still had Fable The Journey that was released back in 2012. But by then my Xbox 360 had caught the infamous red ring of death. And I just went to like use my PS3 and my PC for gaming since then. Plus I got a PS4 a year later when it launched back in 2013. So that's where I like fully departed from the Fable series. But I'm more than proud to know that I'll be reunited with my long-loved series, the Fable reboot. Now, the Fable reboot will be continuing the Fable franchise. We'll be able to play as our hero once again. And the combat is, of course, sword fighting and magic. So yeah, I'm excited for this above all other game on this list. Not because it's the best game on this list, because it's really not, but it's just the connection I have with the series. Fable is a new and upcoming action-adventure fighting role-playing fantasy game being developed by Playground Games and is published by the Xbox Game Studios. Releasing for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, and the PC. Releasing sometime in the late 2024. Now ending off this listing with the game that might be the biggest game on this list, Starfield. A game being developed by the same folks that made the Skyrim and the Fallout series. That alone deserves like super high praises on its own. And that alone is like showing promise that this game is in good hand. And I have seen a few gameplay and development overview of this game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm already kinda hooked. This game has been in development for some time now, so I'd imagine the game to be as impressive as it was when I seen the gameplay footage about a month ago, and it being like a new franchise in a new universe from Bethesda in like over 25 years, it really shown that they really went to work on this title. It's set in space, not on Earth like previous games like the Fallout series, and I kinda like the whole space theme, which kinda give like a fresh feel to like the games that I have been playing, cause we're taking our boots off the Earth and placing them like on territories beyond. And this game will no doubt be one of the best games of 2023, depending on what Bethesda do, which they have my respect for creating every game before Fallout 76. Yeah, we don't talk about Fallout 76 around here. Like, let's forget that game even exists. Even though it's a little better than it was when it first launched, but no, it's a no, big no. Starfield is a new action-adventure role-playing shooter game being developed by Bethesda Game Studios and is published by Bethesda Softworks, releasing for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, and the PC, releasing on September 6, 2023. Well, that's it for the video. Definitely go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, peace out and stay safe.